Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to continue the lesson Merchant of Venice. So, there are three characters Antonio, Bassanio, Portia, Shylock. Four characters. Shylock was there. Antonio and Bassanio, they are the best friend. Portia, the Bassanio wants to marry with the Portia, and Shylock, he wants to take revenge from the Antonio. So, we see the story, the three cascades were there. The prince who came from different countries to marry with the Portia. So they came and they choose one casket. The three casket is made up of gold, silver, and lead. Okay, once again, I'll just read the story. We have done half portion. See, Antonio was a merchant who lived in Venice, a prosperous city in Italy. Venice is a very prosperous city in Italy. In those days, that is about 500 years ago, sea voyages were very dangerous, and yet some adventurous merchant traveled across the sea. Though the sea journey is very dangerous, some adventurous merchant travel across the sea. Some other spent a lot of money in sending ships to far away countries. These ships brought back spices and other treasures from India and other countries. The merchants sold these things in Europe. They made a lot of profit in this business. Okay. At the time when the story begins, Antonio was waiting for his ships to return with merchandise. He had put almost all his money in the ships. Antonio was a kind man. He had many friends, but his best friend was Bassanio, as I told you. Yesterday, in last period, we have done this half of the story. So, Antonio and Bassanio, they were the best friends. Bassanio was a young and handsome nobleman, but unfortunately, he had no money. He was very handsome and young. He's very handsome and young, but he hadn't any money. Bassanio wanted to marry Portia. Portia was a beautiful and intelligent girl. She was the only daughter of a very wealthy man. She's the only daughter of a very wealthy man. Okay. And her father had died, leaving her a large estate. In his will, Portia's father had written how Portia's husband should be selected. उनके विल में उन्होंने लिखा था how Portia's husband would be selected. He had set a test for suitors. They had to choose between three cascades, one of gold, one of silver, and other last one is the made up of lead. Each cascade had something written on it. On the gold cascade, it was written, "Whoever chooses me shall again what many men desire." On the silver cascade, whoever chooses me shall get as much as he deserves. On the cascade of lead, whoever chooses me must give and hazard all he has. One of Portia's suitors was the Prince of Morocco. He chose the gold casket, but he opened the casket. The message inside said that it was not the right casket. He chose the Morocco, Prince of Morocco, he chose the gold casket. So, message is written, he is not selected the right casket because all that glitters is not gold. Understood? All that glitters is not gold. Another suitor, the Prince of Aragon, chose the silver casket, but that too was not the right casket. Bassanio wanted to try his luck with the casket. To do that, he had to travel to Belmont, where Portia lived on her estate. He needed money for that. When Antonio came to know this, he wanted to help. He told Bassanio to borrow money in his Antonio's name. They went to Shylock, the Jewish moneylender. Shylock is a Jewish moneylender. He will give money, okay, and ask him for the money. Shylock had a lot of money, but he was not all of generous. He is not generous. Money was all that he cared for. He did not like Antonio because Antonio sometimes lent people money without charging any interest for it. That's why Shylock hated him. So Shylock decided to take advantage of this situation. He gave them the money on a strange condition. He had given money to the Antonio for his friend, but he put forward a strange situation before him. If Antonio failed to return the money, within 3 months, Shylock would cut off a pound of Antonio's flesh. Antonio agreed to this and borrowed the money for Bassanio. Bassanio went to Belmont. When he saw the casket, he chose the lead one. That was the right casket, and Bassanio won Portia's hand by choosing it. Portia too was glad to marry Bassanio. Portia is ready to marry Bassanio. She was glad to marry Bassanio. In the meanwhile, Shylock heard that Antonio had lost his ships. He was very happy that Antonio would not be able to pay the money. He took Antonio to the court and demanded that he fulfill the strange and cruel condition. The Duke liked Antonio and was very sorry for him. Okay, the Duke also liked Antonio and he felt very sorry for Antonio. But what could he do? Antonio had written a bond to Shylock, and according to the law, Shylock was right. When Bassanio and Portia heard all this, they rushed back to Venice. Portia told Bassanio to pay Shylock twice the amount to save Antonio. But Shylock was adamant. He demanded only a pound of Antonio's flesh. Everyone in the court, including the Duke, felt that Shylock's demand was very inhuman. Yes, the Duke asked Shylock to show mercy towards Antonio, but Shylock was not ready to do so. He felt that Antonio and others had treated him badly before he wanted revenge. Just then, a young lawyer entered the court. He said that he would fight the Antonio's case. He just wanted to fight the Antonio's case. He asked Antonio whether he had agreed to Shylock's condition. Antonio said that he had agreed. Then the young lawyer requested Shylock to show mercy through the law was on Shylock's side. The lawyer pleaded that mercy is a quality of God himself. When a person shows mercy to someone else, they are both blessed. Mercy was more valuable than a king's crown. But all this had no effect on the Shylock. उस पे कुछ भी इफेक्ट नहीं था. He was very firm on his condition that he wants a pound of Antonio's flesh. That's it. The young lawyer then said that the law allowed Shylock to take a pound of flesh, that he could do that. So that's why he is firm. He is not listening to anyone. So the young lawyer said that the law allowed Shylock to take a pound of flesh, that he could do that. At the same time, the lawyer warned that while cutting off the flesh, Shylock should not shed even one drop of Antonio's blood. See, such a beautiful explanation by a lawyer. But lawyer ने क्या warn किया उसको? जब तुम उसका flesh cut करोगे, तो you should not shed, एक भी बूंद उसके खून का गिरना नहीं चाहिए. Shylock should not shed even one drop of Antonio's blood. Also, he should cut exactly 1 pound of flesh, nothing less, nothing more. और एक कंडीशन और भी थी कि he should only take only 1 pound, nothing more and nothing less. उससे कम भी नहीं, उससे ज्यादा भी. That would not be allowed by the law. ये तो law permit ही नहीं करेगा. Shylock realized that could not do what the young lawyer asked him to do. Shylock को फिर समझ में आया. Shylock realized that he could not do. वो ऐसे कर ही नहीं सकता. कैसे कर सकता है? फ्लैश अगर कट किया तो एक ड्रॉप भी बूंद ब्लड की गिरनी नहीं चाहिए और एग्जैक्टली फ्लैश 1 पाउंड ही कट होना चाहिए, थोड़ा सा भी ज्यादा नहीं, थोड़ा सा भी कम नहीं. सो इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. So he realized that it could not do and he accepted his defeat. और उसने उसकी Shylock ने हार मान ली. He accepted. Antonio's life was saved in this way. When Shylock accepted his defeat, Antonio's life was saved. Later, it was learned that Antonio's ship were safe. उसके बाद पता चला कि एंटोनियो की शिप सेफ है. And so he had not in fact lost of his money. So in fact है वो उसको money loss नहीं हुआ था. Thus the story which could have ended in a tragic manner, but it is ended in happy way. Thus the story which could have ended in a tragic manner ended happily. जो स्टोरी का एंड ट्रेजिक होना था, पैथेटिक होना था, सोरोफुल होने वाला था, वो स्टोरी हैप्पीली एंड हुई है. बिकॉज Antonio's ships were safe, his life was safe, his life was saved. Okay, Antonio की life safe हुई थी and Shylock realized his mistake and Antonio's ships were safe. So in this way, the Merchant of Venice story is ended happily. Understood? So here we have finished the story Merchant of Venice. Okay, so here you have to read the story. See, this is a very beautiful story, very interesting, and words are also very easy, so you can read it. It is very important. Okay, reading is very important, beta. Okay, some words are there, we will discuss these words. Okay, synonym, meanings of what is meant by merchant. Merchant is a person whose job is to buy and sell products in a large amounts, especially by trading with other countries. ट्रेड करते हैं अदर कंट्री में. फॉर एग्जांपल इंडिया के स्पाइसेस अगर बाहर जा रहे हैं, कनाडा अमेरिका जा रहे हैं, सो उसे ट्रेडिंग कहा जाता है. और मर्चेंट होते हैं जो भेजते हैं ये सब. प्रॉस्परस मींस सक्सेसफुल, यूजुअली बाय लर्निंग अ लॉट ऑफ मनी. बहुत सक्सेसफुल, प्रॉस्परस मनी जिसके पास अच्छा है, तो जिसके पास लॉट ऑफ मनी वो होगा प्रॉस्परस. Adventurous, what is meant by adventurous? Willing to try new or difficult things. Okay, so this is the adventurous, which may be often dangerous also. That is the adventurous. Merchandise. Merchandise means what? Goods that are brought and sold. Merchandise, जो goods लाते हैं और उनको बेचते हैं, that is the merchandise. Unfortunateness means due to bad luck. Bad luck. Unfortunate. He is very having the unfortunate luck, bad luck. Okay. Estate, all the money and property owned by a person at the time of his death, that is the estate. Estate. Will, an official statement of what a person has decided should be done with their money and property after their death. Will बनाते हैं. Okay, for example, a person is having one daughter and one son, so he divide his property equally among both of them, equally them. That is the will. So he is writing in his will that this should be belong to this my daughter, this should belong to my son. Okay, or whatever I am having my property, so it will be equally divided in both my children. Okay. Suitor, a man who wants to marry a particular woman, that is the suitor. SUITOR. suitor बोलते हैं जिसको किसी के साथ शादी करनी है. A man who wants to marry a particular woman. ये for example particular woman से लड़की से शादी करना है तो उसको suitor बोलते हैं, वो man को suitor. Casket, a small decorative box. Box रहता है, casket है small decorative box. Lead, lead means a metal. A metal. Hazard, hazard means here risk. Hazard means here risk. Glitters, produces a lot of small bright flashes of reflected light. That is the glitters. Produces a lot of small bright flashes of reflected light. Take advantage of. To use the good things in a situation. Take advantage of. To use the good things in a situation. Pound, a unit for measuring weight. 1 pound is approximately equal to 454 grams. Means आधा किलो के नजदीक. Okay. 500 grams means कितना होता है? आधा किलो. तो it is equal to 454 grams. 1 pound फ्लैश चाहिए था उसको, है ना. सो पाउंड मीन्स यूनिट ऑफ मेजरिंग वेट. वेट का एक यूनिट है. इन द मीनवाइल मीन्स व्हाइल समथिंग एल्स इज हैपनिंग. बॉन्ड, अ लीगली बाइंडिंग एग्रीमेंट. लीगल एग्रीमेंट उसको बॉन्ड कहते हैं हम. इनह्यूमन, एक्सट्रीमली क्रूएल और नॉट ह्यूमन इन ऑन यूजुअल फ्राइटनिंग वे. ट्रेजिक मीन्स वेरी सैड, ऑफन इन्वॉल्विंग डेथ एंड सफरिंग. Tragic means very sad, often involving death and suffering. Okay, so in this way we have discussed some words of the lesson, The Merchant of Venice. Understood? So you have to read the lesson. Your homework is you have to read the lesson. Okay, go and read the lesson. So we will stop here and we'll continue the question answers of this lesson in the next video. Okay, bye.